All right, so I want to talk about this because, in these last days, because that's what I was just reading here in the scriptures, right? In the last days. And Yahshua the Messiah teaching his disciples how to throw demons out or cast negative emotions out of the people's bodies because that's what was happening while they were sick and debilitating conditions and all of these things, right? So in one instance they couldn't cast the demon out of the person's body, and he said this kind comes not out but by prayer and fasting. So that's what I want to talk about right there. The prayer and fasting and the demons with the narcissist. So the narcissist primary supply is the enabler. Okay. And the enabler is not the flying monkeys. Okay. The flying monkeys are those that are around them. That's kind of like the people that they can, try to impress. They might, the narcissist, but like all drinks on me, and the flying monkeys, they buy the drinks for the flying monkeys, or they buy this or that or whatever for the flying monkeys. But then when they're no longer doing things or buying things or whatever for the flying monkeys, then the flying monkeys gone somewhere about their business, so you can figure that as like the entourage. And it doesn't have to be a whole lot of people, it could be two or three. It really, but them flying monkeys, they don't necessarily like the narcissist, but because the narcissist is trying to impress and all of that, then they just hang around. But like I said, when the flying monkeys aren't getting anything from the narcissists, they're gonna go on about their business. All right. So the enablers are primary sources of supply. So an enabler can be the spouse, right? Um, it's a long term person. The enabler can be their parents. Okay? The enabler can be siblings. The enabler can be a very long term friend. The enabler can be, like I said before, a spouse. That's the enabler. That's their main primary supply. And then they have those that they are, again, not the flying monkeys, but then secondary sources of supply that are in other environments that they're in. And so a workplace environment, if they belong to any kind of organizations or hobbies, they'll get a supply there as well, because the narcissist is the one that's codependent. Okay, they cannot be alone, they cannot be by themselves, because they will have nobody to project on. They have to have others to project on. They can't be by themselves for long periods of time. Okay. So, with the enabler being that main source of supply for the narcissist always wants people to be nice to them or sweet on them. And when you think about that, being nice and being sweet, I don't want to use the word kind, because kind means similar. But although they can get their kind, and their kind would be like a borderline, like a narcissist will meet their match with someone who is, has borderline personality disorder. That borderline will destroy the narcissist. Okay, so, hey, listen, let the narcissist go ahead and do what they gonna do, and you just get yourself out the way and let destruction happen. You just get out the way. You don't have to try to seek revenge. You don't have to. When the scriptures say vengeance is mine, I will repay, their own behavior will lead them to their own destruction. You don't have to do nothing but move your butt out the way, Because if you don't move out the way, you will end up going down in flames with everybody too. I highly suggest that you don't do that. All right. So, because we all, the law of sowing and reaping, the narcissists have sown their seeds along the way. They have to reap their harvest. You have sown your seeds along the way. My hope and prayer is that your seeds have been intentional and good. You may not reap it with the narcissist, but you can reap what you've sown in other places. You see what I'm saying? So, listen, move out the way and let Yahweh be Yahweh. All right. So, um, but this behavior, right, is really parasitic. Think they are supply, right? When they talk about supply and the narcissists have to get supply, okay, that's like a parasite. That's parasitic behavior, like a spiritual predator or a spiritual parasite. And parasites like to feed on processed sugars. This is the reason like people with like cancer patients and everything, it's really good to for them to change their diet and want to get the body like more alkaline because the body is acidic. And with the processed foods and meats and stuff like that, it's like change the diet. Take the sugar out the diet because parasites feed on that. So with the narcissist being like a spiritual parasite, you cannot be sweet with them. You cannot be nice to them. That's not saying being nasty, but what that's saying is boundaries, no, indifference, no sweet, right? No sweet. They really want you to be sweet with it. No sweet. Even Joshua, when he was going through what he was going through, they gave him what? Hyssop, which is a bitter herb. Bitter. Okay? Parasites do not like bitter. I mean, I listen, when I was younger, I was probably about between 3, 4, maybe 4 or 5 years old or something like that. I had parasites before. And I didn't know what was going on. All I remember was I was in the hospital for a while. Next thing you know, I was out the hospital and then I couldn't eat what everybody else was eating. I had to drink like broth and, everybody else having chicken and everything. And I'm looking like, why can't I eat? I didn't know what was going on. I was so young. And I was drinking water. I was drinking bitter tea and I was drinking like vegetable broth. And a couple of days later, next thing you know, parasites was flushing out of my my body, and I was like, whoa, it was crazy looking, right? And so I know that process. I had to. So that was a fast. That was a liquid fast, and that's the reason why the children of Israel, when they were in captivity and it was evil in the camp or whatever, they had to fast to get the evil out, right? So when Joshua said this kind comes not out but by prayer and fasting, when they was trying to get that demon out, that's what you have to do with the narcissist. You have to fast spiritually. You have to cut out the sweet. You have to be indifferent. You have to not give them the supply that they were getting. It don't matter if they get, and that's their attitude. Well, if you don't do it, I'll get it from somebody else. Let them. Let them. They want to devalue you like that. Fine. You plan your exit strategy. And when they discard you, or you down, whichever way you want to do it, whichever one would be safe for you, they discard you. Okay, thank you. And you going on about your way. But that is how you fast to get the narcissist out your system, from out your aura, from out your spirit, cut it. That is the spiritual way that you fast the narcissist, fast track that narcissist out of your life. I'm telling you what I know because that is exactly how I got my butt out. I fasted spiritually and through physical food as well.